they discovered a heartbreaking truth that prompted them to call the police. This is the amazing story of a dog who never gave up and a community that pulled together to save a life. The kind of thing that a stray dog in Turkey did has become a topic of conversation among the locals. So, let's hear what his story was. Every day for weeks, the dog had been hanging out on the corner of the street. At the same time and place every day, rain or shine, it would stand at the edge of the storm drain and stare down into the darkness. Those who were passing by couldn't help but notice the strange behavior the dog was exhibiting, and some of them even tried to coax the dog away from the area by being friendly to it and offering it food. Yet no matter what they tried, the dog never stopped staring closely at the storm drain. It was almost as if he anticipated something interesting would take place there. People started to worry more and more about the dog as the days went on, and they began to speculate about what might possibly have the dog's attention to such an extreme degree. One day, the dog caught a whiff of something delicious, and he proceeded to follow his nose all the way to the butcher shop in order to investigate further. It was just like any other day at the butcher shop, with the usual sounds and smells of meat being prepared for customers. A sad-looking dog sitting outside the shop put an end to the peace and quiet. It looked like it was following a scent that had caught its interest, so perhaps it was. As he observed the other customers purchasing massive portions of meat, he couldn't help but feel hungry himself. A young lady by the name of Annie appeared from the store while carrying a steak at this time. She had just left work and was walking home when she heard a strange sound. She stopped what she was doing and focused on what was going on. A loud gurgling and whining sound could be heard. As soon as she turned around, she noticed a stray dog sitting by the side of the road. The dog gave the impression of being in very poor health. She felt sad for the dog. She was aware that she needed to contribute in some way. She approached the dog in a cautious manner so that it wouldn't bolt away from her. When she drew closer, she could see that the dog was thin and feeble. As she got closer, she could see the dog. Annie was aware that the dog required food, so she went to the butcher to ask about the availability of any bones or scraps that she could purchase for the dog. The butcher provided her with various bits and bones. She then took the bag of food and went outside, where she saw the same stray dog that she had seen earlier staring at her from a distance. It seemed as though the dog recognized her, and it proceeded to approach her in a cautious manner. Annie breathed a sigh of relief when she realized that the dog was still in the area and hadn't gone missing. She moved closer to the dog and offered the treat that she was holding. The dog sniffed the bag with care and looked at Annie with fear. On the other hand, Annie did not give up anything. She calmed the dog and reassured it that she was there to assist in anything it needed. She waited calmly, giving the dog enough room to feel at ease around her. Within a brief period of time, the animal attained the level of self-assurance necessary to consume the dish. It was almost as if he understood that Annie had merely been looking out for his best interests. The dog grabbed the food with his jaws and ran away with it. Annie was puzzled by the fact that the stray dog did not consume the food, but rather carried it away between his jaws after finding it. She wondered if the dog was saving it for later or if he was too scared to eat in front of her. No matter what was going on, Annie knew the dog needed more food and care. The next day, Annie was shocked to see that the dog was still there. The dog behaved as if he remembered the previous day's visitor due to the excitement he felt at seeing her again. She approached him in a wary manner and spoke to him in a low voice. Annie observed that the dog appeared to be in even worse shape than previously, and she became aware that it was her responsibility to save him. After she got back to the house, she made the decision to go out and get some sausages for him. She was well aware that it was not the healthiest option for a dog to consume, but given the circumstances, she did not have any other choices. The dog eagerly received the sausages that Annie had brought back with her, and then he continued on his journey. After he left, Annie was interested. Was he planning to eat the meal at a later time, or was there another purpose for him to preserve it? Annie never failed to remember to provide some food for the dog whenever she came across him, despite the fact that she did not have the time to investigate. She knew he needed all the help he could get, and she couldn't stand to think of him hurting. Yet, the more she watched the dog, the more perplexed she became by the manner in which he behaved. She couldn't ignore the feeling that something else was happening. She made the decision as soon as she noticed the dog to follow him in order to find out where he was going. To her utter surprise, he led her to the sink drain, which was the location where he had previously dumped the treat. Annie was perplexed. She wondered if the dog was putting food down the drain or if he was doing something else. She made the decision to investigate the drain in more detail. Annie was taken aback when she looked down the drain and noticed a kitten clinging to the edge of it. Annie knew she had to do something to help the poor creature who seemed scared and alone. Without thinking twice, Annie placed a call to the fire department. The team responded quickly and came to the scene with all the tools they needed to save the kitten. Because of Annie's reassurance, the firefighters were able to work quickly and effectively. They were successful in rescuing the kitten from the drain and bringing her to a secure location. They were taken aback when they discovered 4 more kittens hiding in the gutter alongside the first 2. It appears that the kittens were washed away by the heavy rain in the storm drain, and ever since then, they have been unable to escape from that location. Annie's cooperation made it possible for the firefighters to save everyone in the building. They were able to coax the dog away from the drain where he had been guarding it at first, with the help of Annie. The dog was initially protective of the drain. They were able to provide a home that was secure and comfortable for the kittens, all of which need care and attention in varying degrees. Annie felt a sense of gratitude towards her for the role she played in the rescue of the kittens. She was fully aware that if she hadn't helped identify them, there was a chance that they wouldn't have been found in time. Annie was moved to tears after witnessing the stray dog's kindness towards the kittens. She found out that the dog had been sharing his food with them all along, making sure that they never went hungry. She could tell that the dog was kind and caring, and she knew that he needed a loving home just as much as the kittens did. Annie decided to be a foster mom for the kittens until animal rescue groups found permanent homes for them. She worked hard to make sure the kittens had a safe and comfortable place to live, and they did well under her care. Yet Annie did not end her story there. In addition to that, she took in Benny the dog and one of the kittens, providing them a warm home and a family to call their own. Benny was appreciative of Annie's thoughtfulness, and he quickly became a favorite member of the family after moving in with them. The remaining 4 kittens were all taken up by loving families who promised to provide for their well-being after the adoption took place. Annie was overjoyed to learn that the kittens had found homes where they would be loved and where they would receive proper care. After that, everybody had a happy ending and lived their lives to the fullest. Benny and the kitten Annie had taken in and became close friends who brought joy and happiness to Annie's home every day. Annie felt a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunity she had been given to improve the lives of these animals. Finally, Annie, Benny, and the kitten's story is a heartwarming reminder of the power of kindness and compassion. We hope it has motivated you to make a positive change in the world. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel to see more inspiring stories like this one.